Everybody stay where you are. Chill the F out. I'm gonna ask you this one time. Where is
Sigurd?
Yeah, I'll do you one better. Who's
Sigurd?
I'll do you one better. Why is
Sigurd? Dear Ubisoft, we need to talk about something in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Here I was minding my own business when you decided that you would create Sigurd. As the story unfolds, I find myself asking, who is Sigurd? Or better yet, why is Sigurd? So that is the question I pose to you, Ubisoft. Why is Sigurd? Like seriously, why do you make me stay loyal to a guy that is a total and complete? It should come as no surprise that humans are emotional creatures. Since the day we left the womb, we've had emotions swirling around in us. It's impossible to count how many you go through in a day. Like seriously, try it. You'll run out of fingers to count and numbers to use. When playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, they try to throw all the feels in your face when it comes to their characters, especially when it comes to Sigurd. Most of my feelings were directed toward Sigurd in the game. As I played, I wondered, why the hell did Ubisoft make the character we need to side with so damn annoying? And why do I feel like punching him in the face every time he comes onto my screen? I mean, this thought was in my mind since the first time Sigurd makes his appearance. At one point, I quit the game because I couldn't stand him anymore. I didn't touch the game for at least a month. I stalked the Reddit forums to find out I was not alone in this. Everyone and their dog hates Sigurd. Let's now all channel our Sigurd rage and use it to hit that subscribe and like button. Each like equals one punch to Sigurd in the face. You're welcome. Moving on. It made me wonder why the writers of Valhalla decided to create such an unlikable character that you needed to go to great lengths to prove your loyalty to. That's when I realized we're being tested. They purposefully made Sigurd hard to side with. We were being tested the entire time. When you first launch Valhalla, you're met with the sweeping snowscapes and bloody axes of the Norse Danes who worship the gods of Old Norse mythology. As you make your way through the prologue of the game, you quickly get to the part where you're swinging around an axe and chopping off heads like a badass Viking. What's not to love? You start the story out as Eivor, a young Viking who has lost her family thanks to a bloodthirsty, zero-honor brute of a man whose name encompasses just how much you'll come to love him. Kjotve the Cruel. This sets up Eivor's tragic backstory, but also explains why she is so determined and driven to win every fight she meets. For honor, for glory, but also because she's doing what her father did not. She's not giving up without a fight, which explains why, when the village seer tells Eivor she's going to betray her brother, her best friend, Eivor storms out and says, "Not today." Enter Sigurd, your brother from another mother, your best friend who basically saved your life when your parents could not. He's also the man you're going to betray. The game sets up this tension within the first few hours. Eivor will betray Sigurd. Eivor does not want to betray Sigurd. So what do you do with this problem? Now, I think Valhalla has set up a compelling plot here. Who doesn't like a good fight against your fate at all costs story? We love them. We love to see the hero fight against all odds to create a better outcome for themselves. Fate is the master and the hero is the underdog. I'm all for it. But things get interesting real quick when you have your first interaction with Sigurd. He rolls up back to Norway, gone on a long trip, and right away, Eivor begins to note some changes. I mean, that's bound to happen when your brother gets a new bestie. A bestie who gives off all the red flag vibes. All that aside, Eivor decides to join Sigurd on his quest to make a name for himself in England. That's when we get more Sigurd time. Yay! Love it! The more time he spends on the screen though, the more I want to take my little Viking axe and shove it up Sigurd's ass. This brings us to the problem. Eivor truly cares for her brother Sigurd. I know this. I want to defy fate and make Eivor happy by sticking with Sigurd. I want to support him on his quest to conquer England. Here's the thing though, the game wants you to slap Sigurd because it wants you to follow fate. It wants you to betray him. Fate has told you what is to happen, and fate does not want to be defied. Fate wants to be followed. Except, here's the thing. You know that's not what Eivor wants. You are the one in control of the story. You are the one in charge of getting Eivor what she wants. The game presents you with two options. Respond with your emotions and take out your rage on Sigurd's stupid little face, thereby allowing fate to win. Or withhold your emotions and go with the option that will show your loyalty to Sigurd. What would you do in this scenario? Would you let fate guide you, or would you fight against your own emotions to fight your prescribed destiny? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it. Let's talk about what you really thought about Sigurd. As I said before, we as humans are full of all the feels. And when we feel things, we have this tendency to let those emotions control our actions. For this scenario, let's focus on the emotion of anger. It's one many of the characters feel in Valhalla. Anger towards a father who betrayed them, or a friend who's poisoning them, or a sister who didn't do enough. Whatever, Sigurd, I'm sorry, get over it. According to the American Psychological Association, the instinctive, natural way to express anger is to respond aggressively. Anger is a natural adaptive response to threats. It inspires powerful, often aggressive feelings and behaviors, which allow us to fight and to defend ourselves when we are attacked. A certain amount of anger, therefore, is necessary to our survival. The writers of Valhalla crafted a narrative where Sigurd is an ass, and it's your job as the player to not punch him, if you want to get the good ending, that is, where Eivor stays loyal to Sigurd. As a player, we know the objective is to not defy Sigurd. Yet every time he threatens us by saying we don't care about him or we were glad that he was gone, the player can feel the adaptive response of aggression towards Sigurd. And right after he's done threatening us, the player is given a choice. Do something that would cement Eivor's betrayal of Sigurd, or suppress your anger and take the beating he gives you. We can suppress our anger, but it's a hell of a lot harder to do when we feel threatened. Even though this is a game, the writers of Valhalla knew what sort of reaction they needed from the player in order to make fighting fate a tough battle. The game isn't pitting us against Sigurd, but against our own emotions. Valhalla challenges us to take our emotions and set them to the side. This is a game that encourages giving in to anger and rage at every corner. Odin is constantly there, telling us that we need to respond with power and no mercy to those who do us wrong. There is no forgiveness for Vikings, only rage. That is the message thrown at the player time and time again throughout the story. How do we solve problems in this game? By picking up our axe and tallying up our body count. We don't like the person in charge? Axe. We don't like the way someone talks to us? Axe. We don't like the food our gourmet Viking chef serves us? It's not a thing, but if it were a thing in the game, it would be solved with an axe. Why should Sigurd be any different? He's almost worse than the enemies you face in England because Sigurd is supposed to be your brother. He's supposed to be by your side and support you, yet he takes nearly every opportunity he can to tear you down and belittle you, inciting rage in the player. At times, it feels as if Sigurd lives to make your life miserable. Sure, he saved Eivor from a wolf at the beginning, but that can only buy so much time to be a jerk. I mean, Eivor can only take so much verbal abuse, and so can the player. Sigurd pushes the player toward the edge of their tolerance. Every interaction feels like a hostile one, inching you closer and closer to choosing an option that would earn you sad points with Sigurd. In this way, the player isn't battling fate, but their own rage and urge to not be emotionally abused or manipulated by Sigurd. The way to beat your fate is not by swinging your axe, but by biting your tongue. Although Assassin's Creed Valhalla may not really be an Assassin's Creed game and is kind of a bloated mess, I have to applaud the writers for making fate hard to fight against. When I was first posed with the problem in the intro of the game, I shrugged it off. After all, I'm in control of Eivor, and therefore I'm going to defy fate. I've been told that's what Eivor wants, and that's what I'm going to make happen. The writers, though, they had different plans in mind. They pitted my rage against me. If I wanted to go against Eivor's fate, I would need to channel my emotions and not let rage take over. I would have to go against my own instincts. For better or for worse, Sigurd is a key part of the game and a key part of Eivor's journey. Odin pushes Eivor toward gaining respect by ignoring any empathy. The existence of Sigurd asks the player to be empathetic to a terrible person. Fate and Odin sit in opposition of each other. It's up to the player to battle this juxtaposition, reach deep down for empathy, and fight against the urge to punch if they want a chance at defying fate. Who is Sigurd? He is the brother of Eivor, the guy who's convinced he has a great purpose. What is Sigurd? The mechanic that constantly questions the player's choice, invoking anger and annoyance. Why is Sigurd? Sigurd gets the player to question whether or not fighting fate is worth going against our own emotions. He challenges the player to think before they throw an axe in his face. Sigurd is our reminder that we can fight against fate, but it's going to take some work. Thank you so much for watching my video. I appreciate you being here. If you want to follow me on Twitter, my handle is Lindsey Reskon. Big shout out and thanks to those who helped me make this video happen, to Zadia Horizons, shadowssapphire, and karadraws. Thank you so much for your support. I couldn't have done this without you. If you liked this kind of content, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I've got more analyses of pop culture media and just my rambling thoughts about why I think it's important. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.